Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only movie review horror podcast that knows better than bringing our work home with us. Before we bring in our awesome co-host, unfortunately, Brooke is away getting her learning on, but Carly and Ashley come here in a second. But let's find out what we're looking at tonight. Tonight, we review The Boogeyman, a 2023 American supernatural horror film directed by Rob Savage from a screenplay by Scott Beck, Bryan Woods, and Mark Heyman. It is based on the 1973 short story of the same name in his anthology Night Shift by Stephen King. In The Boogeyman, high school student Sadie Harper and her younger sister Sawyer are still reeling from the recent death of their mother. They're not getting much support from their father Will, a therapist who is dealing with his own intense pain. When a desperate patient unexpectedly shows up at their house seeking help, he leaves behind a terrifying supernatural entity that preys on families and feeds on the suffering of its victims. Yes, my pick this week. Welcome, ladies, to the podcast.
Woohoo!
What's the live stream? I don't know. What are we? Let's not label us.
Okay,
We're here.
We're here. That's all that matters. So, Ashley and Carly, this was my pick. I'm a huge Stephen King nerd. I read this story back when I first read Night Shift, and it was like in 1980, 42 some years ago. But enough about what I think about it, because we'll get to that. But Ashley, what do you think about this movie?
This was such a refreshing film because this actually scared me. Like, not like scared me, but like anxiety scared me. Like, it had me on the edge of my seat. I couldn't wait to find out how the movie was going to end and how this was all going to get resolved.
And she's like, and sing. And Miss Carly, I'm pretty sure you're going to echo that in some way.
Yes, I loved the tension. We were talking about this before we came on air. It had me on edge, like fight or flight kind of deal throughout the whole movie. I felt there were a lot of jump scares, seeing the boogeyman in the background, and you're going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's fantastic. And the casting was great. The Billings character, the one that came to the house, he was creepy, so creepy. And the girls were just, Sawyer was just an absolute joy. I absolutely loved her. And Sadie, she had her issues, but she was cool. I liked it. She was cool.
Yeah, but just never, I always wonder what it'd be like to have a therapist as a parent. And now I know they're useless. Which is why therapists have therapists, because they need to be dealing with their shit. I liked how it opened. I like the baby in a crib. I like the creepy, I'm mimicking daddy's voice, but yet I can't do it perfect. I like seeing the fingers on the crib. And then, of course, a perfect pan away to the blood spatter. And I've seen this twice, by the way. I saw it and didn't know who the family was until the second time. I'm like, hey, that's Lester in the family picture with Rita and the kids. So I read the story. I know the entire story pretty much is in the therapist's office. It is Lester talking about how his family disintegrates. It's a, typical 1970s fare from Stephen King in terms of a little bit racial, a little bit women are secondary, things happening. But I like, I like how they took that idea and pretty much made it just the origin of the jump point for the film.
Okay.
Right? It could have been all about Lester in the family and kind of like really made that drawn out and let it be about the parents fighting the demons trying to save their kids. It could have gone in that direction. Absolutely would have been fine. But I think having a 16-year-old daughter and Sawyer being kind of like in between age, and then a father who's just detached and the mother's death, I think a lot of that was well placed in terms of rewriting the screenplay to work. Because this short story was set to film long ago, but it was more a direct adaptation. It didn't really work out. So
Oh, well, I'm glad they did this.
Yeah, it was very low key. It was almost like a student film because Stephen King is all
I think
about.
Chuck's frozen on us.
Oh no!
No,
I'm here. Hello.
no, you're frozen, Ashley.
Me?
No,
You
I see both of you all. So I think
Okay.
it's just the boogeyman trying to get us and telling me to
Right.
stop talking and start asking questions. So had either of you read the story?
No.
Okay. So for you, you're going in fresh without any of that,
Yeah.
like, the story is better than the film. So from that perspective, then Ashley, what did you think of the pacing? What did you think of the creature? Let's
I
start.
thought that this was damn near perfection for me. I thought the pacing was good. There was a few moments that it may be, I could see where people might say that it's a little slow, but in those moments are very important, like character development moments that you're seeing between all three of them. So I can't really harp on it at all. This was a really, really good film that it was psychological. I loved that. I love that. There's gore, but most of it's like hand away type of gore.
Mhm.
It was just a really creepy, spooky Halloween type vibe film. And
Yes.
I've been wanting a ghost story that was actually scary, and Chuck delivered. So I'm in
Yes.
love with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Carly and I were speaking backstage about the creature.
Yes.
Now, Carly, tell me your thoughts about the creature itself.
Well, up until the point where we were up close and personal, it was very, very creepy, very shadowy. You couldn't really see. But when the tiny little red hands came out and held her face, I was like, oh, tiny red hands. Okay.
And
I was a little bit taken out by that.
which is so interesting because I was in love with the creature design. The fact that there was another entity inside the entity, like whispering for like, come join me and shit. Like, and basically those things that look like they were mandibles ended up being hands pulling apart so you can see the face inside the face. For some reason, it was very like American Wendigo, like this weird like bone structure, elemental. Just really for me, I was totally digging it. Ashley, you're the tiebreaker. What'd you think?
I liked the monster because, and I don't know if there's more about the monster later on in any of Stephen King's work, because I know that he likes to full circle shit and have his own universe, and I love that. I do something very similar. But I like how open this was with the monster. We don't really know where it came from, what its objective is, but having a monster inside the monster, it really just plays in your imagination. It just depends on the person. What is this to you? So it's a very fitting that this is based around a therapist setting, because that's kind of the monster as well. It could be something different for depending on what people's going through. I see it more as like this could have been humanoid at one time, like a person, but then it became this revenge wanting to take away children, and that seems to be what it's really after the most is the kids. So it's interesting. I'd like to see a backstory, but I'm also fine with how they have the monster right now.
I agree. And so now we're going to go from that straight into our favorites. And because there's not a lot of killing up in this piece, and the ones that are there are very sad. Let's talk about favorite moments. For me, I'm going to start first. My favorite moment actually was was when she went back to school, went to her locker, and saw that bag lunch from her mom that said, "Have a great day," with a little butterfly on it that was all rotted inside because she'd been gone for a month. Like, for storytelling, for me, like to say everything in just that one visual, I thought was stunning.
Yes, that was a good one. That really was. Mine, I'm a little bit morbid. Was when Sawyer was thrown into the television.
Ooh.
I was like, oh my God, did they really do that to that little girl? But yes, they did. And I wonder how many takes they had to do on that. and how many TVs they had to break. But that was my favorite.
And I will say that Judy, my girlfriend, and I, we watched this, and she was like, how many things do you have to do before a parent actually starts believing there's some dastardly shit going on? And it's like, really? The girl threw herself into the TV? You know, it just, I mean, not that really, they really like kind of sped past the supernaturalness of this, but it does tell that story of how much do you have to really go through before the parent's not just constantly trying to rationalize what's going on, you know, that because he was so detached and so not wanting to see anything, let alone like even talk to his older daughter about, you know, the wife/mother's death.
Yeah.
And so, Ashley, what was your favorite part?
Oh, there's so many, but I'm going to have to say when they're having the slumber party and the slumber party gets ruined, because I was really wanting to know how they were going to do this seclusion, because there's always these types of entities always want to seclude the family away from everyone else. Well, here we have a slumber party happening. So I was on the edge of my seat, like, what's about to go down? And I really wanted that blonde chick.
I was,
Yes.
I was so like,
Yes,
oh
so
yeah,
was I.
get the blonde first, get the blonde first.
I know, but they let us down, but they let us down in a beautiful way. And it was a nice touch. It really took me back to like, I've been in a moment kind of like that where I've had the slumber parties and I was the one who was secluded and it's my slumber party.
Ouch. Ouch.
But so it just, that I think a lot of people would relate to that because I think that's a, like, I don't know, a rite of passage. You have to have one failed sleepover, I guess.
Well, let me ask you this, because you both being writers, and I'm not really in the thick of what the kids are doing these days, but the idea that this poor girl, Sadie, she's going through some shit. Her best friend, you know, is supposed to be on board, and then boom, all of a sudden she's with the popular kids, and they're just being so cold and nasty to Sadie. Even after that, I mean, are kids that?
Yeah.
Just evil? Of like, I'm just trying to help you. I was like, ugh, I just want to smack her with a backhand.
I think especially today, because how a lot of these teens, just the environment that they were brought up against, like they kind of have it hard with each other. Like things were rough when we were in school for sure. But now you have social media and like everything else. Now it's like a million times harder on these kids, and they just kind of do what humans do best and attack the people you actually care about the most. And so that's, to them, that's their friends. So
yeah, I'm not sure how much they thought that Sadie was a friend. They weren't even going to show up to the slumber party. They thought that there'd be like more than just pizza and go fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were rude. Very rude.
Like I said, that's why I wanted something bad to happen to him.
I know, I did too. And I think that that's very much exaggerated. I don't think that everyone would be so rude like they were to Sadie, but I really wanted them to get got.
Yeah, something. Just, I mean, the blonde, because she was a ringleader. The other two were just kind of there to take up space. But yeah, I was not loving what she had going on. I will say I love the moon. The moon glow.
Yes.
Oh my God, it was so
fantastic.
amazing.
I want one.
I do as well. And I'm like,
they
how
really
do you put a battery in it?
exist?
I don't know, but obviously they had to make one for this film.
Yeah.
But like, how do you get a moon and then put a battery in it, but yet the whole thing glows? Oh, fantastic. I want one.
For her to be such a scaredy cat, she was brave. Like even in the beginning when she was so scared she couldn't look, but she would roll that ball towards whatever. Like that is such a sign of bravery that she couldn't even see within herself. It was beautiful character writing right there. I don't know if that was Steven, whoever did that.
No, that was not. No,
they need a hug. Like
they do need a hug.
They did so good.
And I would say, because again, we had this conversation while we were watching it here. It's like, why isn't she using a flashlight? And I thought that this was more tension building. Typically, we've seen a billion flashlights being flashed onto the the eyes of the demon or whatever, and you only see what's in the cone of light. But just the gimmick of that thing rolling into the closet, rolling down the hall, and then taking a right, I thought was fantastic. It was just like that slow, like woo, 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 just kind of like you were anxious for what was going to like be in its sphere. So I love that they use that instead of just a flashlight. But then what happens? We get Mom's filigree lighter, which you knew everybody who ever watches a horror film where they focus on a lighter, that lighter becomes very important later on, as we all know. But yeah, I thought that the relationship between Sadie and her mother was even like the in a camcorder. I thought even that was just so beautifully done. It's like it's minimalist, but enough that you knew that like what kind of person the mother was to the family. Yeah. So I love that. But what did you guys think of Rita? Now Rita has a big part to play in the book because Lester is constantly talking about his wife Rita when he's talking to the therapist in the story. But in this, Rita's like Rambo-esque as she's defending the house. So what did you guys think of her?
She caught me by surprise. Not so much the first time we see her, but the second time we saw her. When I don't want to give it away. It's just that what she did really shocked me, and I liked her character because she's so fucking crazy.
Yes, but yet still dedicated to like ridding the world of whatever this thing was. So she was single-mindedly like after this thing. So I totally get it. Her decisions will make complete sense. The thing that didn't make sense to me, and maybe Ashley, you can fill me in, is that this creature is supposed to be afraid of light. Obviously, all the candles like kept it away. Yep, that the weird like root system was growing upstairs. Not really sure what that was about. But yet we find out early on that somebody basically hangs himself in a big walk-in closet where there should have been plenty of light. So how do you explain a creature that's afraid of light, but yet have plenty of time to, off somebody in the middle of the day?
Who did
the one that Dad and Sadie found?
Okay, but that was in the closet.
The door was closed.
All right. So you're saying it was dark enough, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I think that it was dark enough for there. I did not like Rita though.
Really?
Talk to us.
I did not. She was too, I don't know. I felt like they were trying to do a misdirection with her a little bit. And I didn't think that the misdirection was needed. Like it kind of gave off the vibe that all of this was fake and happening in the head type of situation for the first encounter of Rita. And that she was just an absolute maniac, crazy person, which would make sense, everything that she's been through. But it was just weird. It was just.
What did you think of the second one? The second time you saw her?
The second, I was mad. I was really, really upset because I'm like, you are so dumb. Like, how in a million years would you think that this would work?
Yeah. I mean, she had as much firepower as she could muster, which was way more than Sadie and Sawyer had in the basement later on. And I'm sitting there going, you guys are going in a basement with nothing, and yet somehow you already have a plan in place? What are you thinking, kids? Life ain't going to happen. You already saw this thing get blown up with a shotgun, and yet somehow...
Nothing.
Yeah.
But
come on, gotta plan it.
It gave me the vibe of, those memes that always get shared online where it's like, you wake up at 3 a.m. and you see this. What are you going to do? And then you read the comments and they're like, I'm going to punch it. And it's like, it's a ghost. What are you going to hit?
I mean, you could try to punch it.
Yeah.
And then have ectoplasm all over your fist. That's a whole other story.
So that's the vibe it gave me. I was just like, Rita, come on, girl.
Get it together. I mean, come on. But remember, she lost everybody. So, I mean, she was already fairly unhinged with this whole bit. But with that, let's rate this thing. And I want to know, let's see. Carly, you seem to have loved this film.
Yes, I did.
What did you give it?
I give it a very solid 4.5 tiny red hands.
Oh, well, you mean that thing you hated? You're gonna rate it
Yes.
with? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Miss Ashley Greyhouse.
I am going to give this a solid 5. Yeah, you look really great in that dress. I'm gonna hide it later. We're gonna get it again.
I mean, I think I'm good. I had my issues, and I don't know if it was because just the timing of it. I did like it. I like the fact that it took the story that Stephen King wrote and just basically catapulted into a whole other dimension that really could become something bigger if we decide we want to follow this creature around. I'm going to give this 4.6 torn paintings of the family.
Oh,
Yeah.
that hurt. That one hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. It did hurt. I was going to go with the filigree lighter, but I figured this was more poignant. Like I said, I liked it. There was a lot of things that was typical tropes that was like, it seemed lazy. Like I said, hey, Rita has a shotgun, but Sawyer and Sadie have their spunk. I mean, sometimes it's like, all right, I know you're kids. I know you think you're invincible, but you've already seen this thing up close, not get gone. So there was some elements of like, where was Dad all this time? I was like, did he hear the noise upstairs? There were just some things that, like, you know how we were talking offline about chapter 3 and chapter 4, you don't know the details in between. But these are some of those cases where just give me an inkling of what Dad's doing. Does he got earbuds on, like transcribing notes from his daily sessions? I need to know that, like, he wasn't so detached that he didn't hear like something drop upstairs and not come running. He's got 2 kids. I need him. And he's the only father, even though he said he wasn't ready to father by himself, which was very sad. So I give it a 4.6. I also love the ending of the film when everybody's like, happy, happy, joy, joy, because that is the cornerstone of the ending of the short story as well.
Ooh,
Really?
there could be more.
Yes. Well, it was all about, it could be more. It's like, it's endless. You're never going to kill it. But when Lester was finishing in the story and he walks out of the therapist's office, he walks back in for some reason, either because somebody was calling him and he realized that the therapist the entire time was the boogeyman. That he was wearing the skin of the therapist this entire time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that was the one twist that would have been really cool to do. But they did it with the, like, telling Sadie to come back into the...
Yeah.
Kind of did in a different way, but yeah, if we had gone that route, it would have been mind-blowing, and I would have given it a 6 out of 5.
Oh my gosh, if they would have went that direction, I would have shit my pants.
You would have shipped your pants, like
I would have.
Or...
Yep.
I love that you can ship your pants. Like the old Kmart commercial for everybody. Look it up online. Ship your pants. Kmart commercial.
Yes.
But with that, what is next? What's going on? Who's up on deck? Talk to me, Goose.
It's me, and you would say talk to me, wouldn't you? I am so upset that is not available streaming yet.
One day.
We are going to go with The Pope's Exorcist, and that's on Netflix.
It is, and it gives us a lovely, plump Russell Crowe. I will tell you, I have seen the film. I thought he plays it with a little bit of comedy. It's really light, but not light. It's very cool. I think Carly, if you have not seen it, you will enjoy it. It's just tongue in cheek in spots, but like really nice, dark in other spots. And I thought it was just well crafted. So that's my preview before I watch it again, because that's how I roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. It's good.
Yeah, I think so. And it's based on true stories, y'all. I mean, supposedly this guy is a real guy, so we'll see what happens. So let's see. What can I say? Usually I ask you questions about the film you selected. So now, I mean, you could ask me questions about what I thought of the film.
Yes. So what was, aside from what you already gave us with the ending, what was the one thing that you wish would have carried over to the movie adaptation?
I mean, I think they hit it. Honestly, because Lester was part of the narrative. He was that crazy walk-in that needed to be seen and to tell the story. So they gave you pretty much all of it. The only thing they didn't do is all the other characters in his life, his family, were all just characters he spoke of, and they didn't have a presence in the film like Rita does. And Rita has a much expanded role in this film. But like I said, everything beyond that and behind the whisper of Sadie, come back in here a minute. And then the lady's like, what do you want? Why are you back here? I mean, you gotta love that. Any closet door, I don't know what it is about closet doors and scariness. They should always be lit by LED lights at all time. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't care if you can't sleep.
My closet doors off.
That seems more scary.
Me too. I took
You
mine
took yours off too? Wow.
I sure did. The Boogeyman's in there, and I knew that. I didn't even read. I didn't know nothing about this. I just knew.
So wait, but weren't the closets in both your cases dark?
Yeah. Not really. Mine is pretty open, and I have my dresser in it.
Yep.
And...
Okay. So there's no room for the Boogeyman to do
Me
it.
and Carly's got the same freaking layout. if you guys would like Carly and I to boogie proof your house, we charge $6,000 a bedroom, but it'll be boogie free.
Well, so instead of California closets, it's going to be Carly and Ashley closets for all your supernatural warding needs. So call us here at 1-999-355-2423. Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, I would love, thank you so much. I'll do commercial for us next week. Just get out. So basically just stuff a dresser or armoire into your closet.
Don't give away all of our secrets.
Well, I mean, that's just the first step to warding off. There's sage. There's other things involved, of course. But I just think it's funny because it seems like a lit closet would be much safer than just a closet stuffed with things.
Well, if it's stuffed with things, then there's no room for a monster.
Yes.
I don't know. There seemed to be room for the monster inside the monster where all you got to do is like pull his face apart.
Well,
I've got nothing on that one.
No,
I've got
and you guys are talking about, hey, at 3 a.m. you wake up, there's a ghost there. Ghosts don't need a lot of room to move around to get through things. So
that's true.
I think it's about what are you proofing against? So keep that in mind when you call us at Harley and Ashley's Closets, 1-999.
Yeah, we both said boogie.
So with that, ladies, you're amazing. I love having my Sunday nights with you. Love, boop. And one day I'll make.
No, you got it. That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I love you all, and with that, I'm going to let you go. So thank you so much for spending another Sunday night with us. And remember, as always, we're always here to scare you later. Good night.